Setting boundaries with your ex is not being cold, it's about being clear. Look, if you're co-parenting, you already know that communication is going to be messy. All the old habits and personal questions and guilt trips, it's all gonna come crashing in. But here's what I've learned about separation. We do not owe each other any personal updates or anything in that regards. All we have to do is just keep it about the kids and life is much more simpler. My name is Tony. I'm a single dad of two. I am documenting my life on building wealth, health, and relationship in real time while you watch. Now, the rule is simple. We only communicate about the kids. I'm not talking about my personal life or dating or my YouTube channel or my business or anything in that regard. It's only about the kids. And same with her. She doesn't have to share anything personal about her unless it's about the kids. When it comes to work and it affects the income, of course, we might say something to each other. But besides that, we just keep it strictly about the kids. And you gotta keep in mind and remind yourself, like, we separated for a reason. Y'all separated for a reason. There's no reason to talk about stuff that's going on in our life. All we need to talk about is taking good care of the kids, making sure that they have what they need, to making sure they have a good place to live, to making sure that basically they are being well taken care of. That's the main focus of the co-parenting and the communication that's happening. And honestly, this just keeps all the conversation professional, like just straight to the point. And nothing else from the past is just gonna come back in, and we're not gonna get mad at each other, and we're not gonna bring up old problems and old issues, right? Because we're just keeping it professional. Keep it about the kids. That's it. There's just so much more or less emotional baggage that comes along with talking only about the kids and not our personal life. It's just so much simpler that way, and this is why I recommend it. Now, I do want to talk about communicating with the kids. Never ever badmouth the ex. It's just never good to do, right? In public, even to your personal friends or family, I really try hard not to say anything bad, and because I just want to avoid the conversation. And plus, like, I have my own life already. I don't need to keep talking about my ex. And so when you badmouth the ex, like, you're basically giving her energy, and that's not good, right? You want to focus on yourself. I want to focus on choices that I can make. So focusing on the ex just doesn't do me any good. And then badmouthing them is even worse, especially if you do it in front of the kids. Never ever badmouth the mom in front of the kids. It just doesn't do good. You do not want them to have a bad look or outlook on their mom, right? Because that's their mom. You don't want that to happen. Like, I even stop my kids every now and then if they try to say something bad about their mom. So look, that's your mom, okay? I am learning. We're both learning, and so we could go from there and just do your best to not talk bad about your parents. You're supposed to look up to them. You're supposed to treat them with respect. And on top of that, like, these are kids, right? They don't need to know adult issues. They don't need to know adult problems. And so they just need to stick to being kids and just have fun being kids and learning about the world. But they don't need to hear me saying something bad about their mom. They just don't need to hear that. They should not hear one parent tearing down another parent. That's just showing them what a bad relationship looks like. That just shows them what bad co-parenting looks like. It's just not good all around. Never badmouth the ex, never badmouth anyone in general, right? You should be focusing on yourself. You should be focusing on your life and just making smart and better choices. Now, the weird part I would say is when I still have a relationship with the mom, or I have the relationship with their family members, right? And that part is kind of confusing and it's kind of hard because honestly, like me, I still hang out with my ex family and she still hangs out with my family. So it is kind of awkward type of situation. And I think as long as nothing bad is happening, it's fine. I just don't talk too much about it, or I don't talk too much about the relationship, or I don't talk too much about what's happening in our personal life, right? Like, they still could be, my ex still could be friends with my family, and I still could get along with her family, right? So it's not a huge deal. That's because me and my ex, we do get along as co-parents, but also if we don't get along, then we probably would have kept our family separate. Quick thing, if you are getting value from this, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you so much. Now, to further add upon that, our life is private and we keep it private. All the text, all the call, all the communication is strictly about the kids. However, if my ex needs support or needs some advice, I don't mind giving it as long as it's not financially. Obviously, I'm not going to give her more money than I need to. But aside from that, if she needs advice or support on something, I would try to help her out with that. But if it takes up too much of my time or I just don't want to do it, I'm just going to strictly say no. Because I'm not obligated to help her, right? I'm not obligated to do anything with my ex except take care of the kids. That is our main focus. That's what all the communication should be about. But there are some leniency where if she needs help with something, I would try to support her on that if I could. If I don't want to, I would just simply say no. Because our job as co-parents is just to do one thing, is to raise happy, healthy, honest kids. That's all I really want to do with my kids, with my ex. I just want to raise them well and make sure they grow up to be really good human beings and that I am proud of them. Now, the hard part comes when it's the scheduling of the kids. And luckily, me and my ex, once again, we do get along. So the schedule can be very flexible. And luckily, I work remote as well. So I'm next to the kids' school. I take them to the events all the time. I take them to the bus all the time. And my ex, she doesn't really work 9 to 5. So her schedule is a bit different. But we're flexible. We don't necessarily get too mad at each other about what happens. So, for example, if I have to go to work and I have to travel to a different city, she will step up and watch the kids, right? And I communicate those way ahead of time. I don't do things at the last minute. If something pops up and I need to do it, I give her the notice way ahead of time. So when you give the co-parent stuff at the last minute or something changes at the last minute, it just causes frustration because the parent could have had something planned already, but then the other parent had something else that was going on that just interrupt that plan. And that's never a good thing. So with co-parenting, I do try to be as flexible as possible because things pop up all the time and life is difficult as is already. So being flexible about the scheduling and who watches the kids and when they watch as a kid, I think it's a good thing to be flexible on that, right? But you should track it 100%. You should track the scheduling on when a parent watches the kids on this day, because I definitely track everything just for documentation's sake. And also on top of the scheduling, what's more important is that the kids get their stuff on time. They need to be the bus on time. They need to be picked up on time. They need to go to the doctor appointments. They need to go to the dentist appointments. As long as someone takes them to those things, I think is good. I don't need it to be 50% of everything because I don't mind taking the kids out all the time. I don't mind taking them to school all the time. I get a lot of fulfillment from that. So I actually don't mind it. But when I do have something very important to do, I hope that she will step up. And for the most part, she has stepped up to watch the kids when that time comes. But overall, I'm just saying to be flexible with the schedule, with the co-parenting, with the communication. Just communicate way ahead of time so no one's confused. Make the communication as clear as possible. Pick up the kids at this location at this time on this day, right? Be as clear as possible on the communication because we do not want any confusion. We do not want any constant updates. Be as clear as possible in the communication. So setting boundaries with your ex is not harsh. It allows us to move on as parents. It allows us to move on with our private lives while also focusing on taking care of the kids because that is the main focus between us as co-parents. So I hope this video helped. If you want to learn more about my life, my name is Tony Chan. Check out my other video on the end screen.